No. Let's give you a couple of maybe hopes. Here's the light bulbs for me. And the reason, God willing, I'm going to spend the rest of my walking and waking days trying to serve men and challenge men, mostly selfishly, because I probably benefit more than you all do when I do these kinds of talks and do these kinds of workshops. I'm now convinced today, as I sit here in front of you, that we men have the ability to transform our marriages, starting with us, regardless of whether your wife has any interest in participating in this transformation. How's that for the craziest concept in the world? And one of the things we tend to write off and rationalize is, well, no. I could never convince her to go to counseling. I could never convince. I mean, the reality is we don't want the neighbors to know. We don't want the kids to know. We're just going to keep on keeping on. And we get satisfied with mediocrity. And we rationalize again. Men can transform their marriages, starting with me, which is a really bizarre concept when I started down this journey. God can use your marriage like no other relationship. The reason your marriage is so difficult, the reason the relationship is innately difficult, is because God views it so strategically. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Our wives are designed. Here's the good news. You say, wait a minute, Peter, I don't buy this. You're telling me that if I fly straight and if I get this right, then my marriage is going to be transformed. You're forgetting 50% of the equation. What about her? What about her? Here's the answer. In the same way God gave us a unique role in the marriage, God designed our wives to be dramatically impacted by our ability to be Christ-like. And that goes two ways. When we aren't Christ-like, God designed her to be dramatically impacted in a way that's really painful for us. When we get it right and we're making that path towards Christ-likeness, He's designed her to be dramatically impacted in some ways you'd never predict. And you'll have to compare notes with Glenn. Glenn finished the workshop a couple of weeks ago. And by the way, this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So don't let him gloat about how good he is and how great he is or how great his marriage is. But guys who go through this and start to kind of figure out what God's up to in the design and start to do some things are usually amazed. It's like, dang, I can't believe some of the response I'm getting. And we didn't have to go to a counselor. We didn't have to go fix ourselves. Because there's only one thing we can control. What's that? Me. I can't control her. All I know to control is me. And we have to count on God to do His supernatural, sacred thing on the other side. And I believe marriage is the ultimate way. In fact, it's so strategic, I believe our marriage, when we get it right, is God's finest, most strategic way to draw me close to Him.